What's good, YouTube? Bruno with 1980. I'm back with this vid to kind of explain things to you guys, catch up and whatnot. To give you guys some insight on what's been going on, how come I've been like neglecting my channel or whatnot. No better time than now to really speak to you guys. Recently, as you guys know, if you've been following me or whatnot, I got saved recently. I gave my life to Christ, 100% fully. It was a big move for me. It kind of changed the way I thought about things. It changed the way I seen myself. I realized that I really wasn't operating right. I mean, I've always been a good dude, and a humble guy for the most part, but I haven't lived a righteous life. I haven't even attempted to. I always thought that because I did for people, or I always had a kind word for certain people, that I felt like I was living okay, but sin is sin, but let me lead up to it. So I got saved August, well, I've been saved before, but for real, August 2nd. Could have been the 4th. No, it was August 4th. In August 4th, I got saved, and it made an impact on me, It really, like, I can't begin to explain the impact. Like, it was like it's like being hit by a car. Like, it was like a jarring experience, in the church. And then, like I told you before, another guy asked me to elaborate on it. Like, when I walked out of the church, I was told that I wasn't saved, that the devil had told me, and I know it sounds absurd to some people that aren't in the spirit or whatnot, but the devil told me that you're not saved. And immediately I felt in my heart that you're the father of lies, and if you tell me that I'm not saved, then I am, So, in the fact that you would even go so forth to tell me, But not long after that, 2 weeks and some change, in fact, around August 20th, my mother passed away. Me and my mother had a torrid relationship growing up. You guys know 1980 is the year I'm born. So I grew up in the 80s and 90s in Baltimore, Maryland. My mother being a pool shark and my dad being a dope dealer, I really didn't have structure like that, I'm not going to say my mom didn't try, because she did, but my mom was my mom. She was Teresa before she was mother, And some people don't really, like, make the transition, So I was more or less raised in a bar, And it kind of made me hardened, growing up. It was a little different, So I really didn't have that sense of childhood, I mean, I had my dad and my mom, and they did for me. I mean, I wasn't lacking for anything, but except I was lacking for some structure, It's funny how we neglect the small things that end up being the large things, So, needless to say, there was never really a close-knit bond with mom, But, I went to school, they paid for private school or whatnot during the early time. And then mom and dad had split up. And, I do apologize for this being a long story, but I need to explain to you how it came to where it is now. But mom and dad split up, and when they split, he came to North Carolina, where I'm at now, and mom followed him and pulled me out of school. Now, being from the city or whatnot, I kind of butt heads with the locals here. Like, you guys know, I'm Indian, and this is a predominantly Native American place, and anybody who knows these locals here, Lumbee Indians, were pretty wild, and I was a little different in the sense of being from the city, I just wasn't having it, being picked on for being smart or being picked on for sounding with an accent. I just wasn't having it, and they weren't soft by no means, so we had to head up, so it kind of, I kind of resented her from taking me from a structure where, in the inner city it was like that, but I still went to school in the county, in the private school, and I was getting a good education, and it stuck with me to this time here. That's why I have an old soul, so to speak, At an early age, I was given the best of both worlds. I had my foot in the city and in that kind of life, you know what I'm saying, street life, and I had my foot in books, or my head in books as it is. But you know, I resented her for it for years, and we became more or less enemies. Not enemies like my I've had enemies, you know what I'm saying, that I couldn't go to bed without putting my hands on them. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't rest knowing they were breathing, more or less. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not enemies like that, but at odds with someone, you know. And for years it was like that, and I kind of avoided her. Like, you know, I would live here in North Carolina, she'd be in South Carolina. I'd go to South Carolina, she'd be in Georgia. When she left out of Georgia, I'd go, because I mean, we kept a family business. I mean, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. It was always a work that we had to know one another. You know what I'm saying. But I didn't want to be in the presence of her. It was like this grudge, you know. Well, as time when she went to prison, you know, I started reflecting, you know, and I had forgiven my mom, you know, long before I got saved, but I had forgiven her. I'd forgiven her in that moment, you know, and then when she felt this need of taking care of me for some reason, like when she got out of prison, she showered me, my wife, because I got married while she was in prison. Showered my wife, my kids with gifts. You know what I'm saying? She would look out, and I no longer had to live that life that I lived thus far. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to focus in that kind of way. You know, but at that time I was actually working, because my wife is a good woman. You know what I'm saying? Because I went to prison for a small time myself during that time. When I got out, I tried to go straight, which I did. You know, and God bless, I'm straight now. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a righteous path. You know what I'm saying? But my wife, she wasn't having it, because I had met her prior. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Try to follow me. I had met my wife prior, and she wanted nothing to do with me. This was during the time that I was working out of a strip club. No stripping, but I was working out of a strip club in South Carolina, doing some work in the office for the the manager. He was a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? And I pretty much sold drugs to his club. You know, and he knew about it or whatnot, and it was all cool. You know what I'm saying? So but you know, I had this arrogant attitude, you know what I'm saying, that I was better than, you know, and I met her and she just had nothing to do with me. But you know, when I got out of prison, I had humbled myself, because I kind of found God in prison also, you know what I'm saying, which a lot of prisoners do. But it was not complete, and at the time I thought it was, but not really, because I'll explain later. But I got out of prison. I met my wife, and the second time I met her, I walked in. I was working at a plant, you know. I walked in filthy, you know what I'm saying, and I humbled myself to her, you know what I'm saying. I was like, you know what, I'd like to take you out, you know what I'm saying. And she was like, I remember you, you know what I'm saying. I was like, I'm not that guy, you know what I'm saying, not anymore, you know. And she gave me her number. Got into the car, called her, boom, married. So during that time, I'm married, I'm working. Um, Mom starts writing me from prison, you know what I'm saying. She's like, is there anything I can do, you know what I'm saying, help me out, taking care of some of her things, and she'll take care of mine. So, because you know, she had a great deal of money. Um, so she was like, you know, don't worry, you know what I'm saying, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you got your life in order, that you're not living that street life anymore, and you know, I'm good with that. And so she would help out, you know what I'm saying. And looking at that, like, I took her for granted for the longest time, you know what I'm saying, that I thought a certain way that just wasn't the way it was, you know. And then we reconciled, you know, cool like that, and we were straight. When she got out, she came stay with me for a while, and she got her own place. You know, she loved her grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you guys know Buddy. Buddy took her heart immediately. You know what I'm saying? And then Jackson came along, and then my oldest boys, she met them and whatnot. And well, after this point, time starts, you know, going on, and we start butting heads again. You know what I'm saying? But there come a point, I'm gonna flash forward so I don't have you too long. When I got saved and I accepted Jesus, you know what I'm saying, fully, he humbled my spirit to the point where I could really see my mother again, you know what I'm saying? And I reconciled with her and made this peace, and like I loved my mother, you know what I'm saying? Like fully loved her. No grudge, no odds, no nothing, you know? Completely. And then a few weeks later, she's gone. You know what I'm saying? It was instant, man. Like, she got sick, which she'd been sick before. You know what I'm saying? She had uh, hepatitis. You know what I'm saying? And she had a bad liver. You know what I'm saying? And she got sick. You know what I'm saying? And went to the hospital. Well, she'd been there plenty of times before. Pardon me, I'll hang this up. Let me cut this off. But many times before, and I just figured she'd be home. You know what I'm saying? And I have her last message on my phone actually, and it's funny because she sounded a little out of it. You know what I mean? So I went up there and seen her, and when I got there, she was in a coma. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept talking to her. No matter why, I stayed there and kept talking to her, and the doctor said she could hear me, and I told her, you know what I'm saying? Well, like I said before, we had patched things up. She was proud of me for finishing school, the first part of school. She was proud of me for being saved. You know what I'm saying? This was before she went to the hospital. But when she was in the hospital, I was leaning in her ear and I kept telling her, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to stay here. You know what I'm saying? Because she had made peace with God. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, I was like, if you need to go, you know what I'm saying? Know that your son's fine. You know what I'm saying? That I'm okay, and that I won't fall back from Christ because of this, or I won't leave school because, like I said, I'm in my last part of school. I won't leave school because of this. You know what I'm saying? I'll finish these things for you. That I'll make my way and see you again. I mean, pardon me for being emotional, but like I said, this is why this video has been so hard to make. You know what I'm saying? Because like I tell you guys that I love each and every one of you. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that fully. A lot of you guys know me on a personal level. You know what I'm saying? If it's through messaging or phone calls or what, you guys know me to some degree. And I care. To say I don't care is bullcrap. You know what I mean? But I told her she could go, and they had her on a respirator at this point. It was breathing for her. And they asked me, you know what I'm saying, did she have brain activity or whatnot, but her blood basically was poisoning her, you know what I'm saying, because her liver was bad and it wasn't cleaning it, and with the hep and you know what I'm saying or whatnot, she was failing fast, more or less, and I said, let her go on her own, I don't want her dying with these things hooked up to her and all that. So I just stayed there and I kept talking to her, you know what I'm saying? And I was praying so hard. Like, my prayers was, if you have to take her, help me get through it, you know what I'm saying? Because it was really emotional. Because at the time, like, our whole family's in there, you know what I'm saying? All of her sisters, all of her nieces, I got a cousin, she's her niece that, her's really tight. She's heavy off in the church. Like, I'm a Christian Baptist, and she's like a holiness church. She's like way in there, like no jewelry, no straight dresses. You know what I'm saying? Like, she be on that. But so she helped me. You know what I'm saying? And like was praying with her and whatnot. And I told Mom, just if you gotta go, go. But if the Lord will spare you, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. But somewhere inside I knew that she was at the end of her path, you know what I'm saying? And I also knew, like, there was this comfort that came, and I praise God for this, that He let me know that I would see her again, you know what I'm saying? It was like this knowing, like, I know, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not even a thought, it's like a knowing, you know what I'm saying? I know my mom is in a better place, you know what I'm saying? I know I'll see her again. I know that the promises of God are righteous and are true, So so I told her, go ahead and go. And from the moment they pulled it out, about 30 minutes she passed, and I was at such a peace, like I wasn't even sad at the moment, like I was just more or less at peace, that I was happy that she was no longer suffering, because I can just imagine the pain she was in, you know what I'm saying, to live like that. And Mom never would let on that she was as sick as she was until the very end. She had called me and told me that I asked her how she was, and she said not good, and normally she would never have said something like that. She would say, I'm fine, this, that, and the third, but like the week before that, I told you guys I got her some sneakers, and I noticed she had gained, like, she was like bloated or whatnot, and I knew something was wrong then, but that was like a week or two prior, and but I knew somewhere inside that she was a little sick, but I didn't know it was that bad, man. But when she left, sorry that I'm rambling, but when she passed, there was a gigantic. I didn't have a chance to grieve for. I had to step up and make funeral arrangements. The debt of burying her was on my head. Her tombstone on my head. None of you have ever lost anyone and had to take full responsibility for their burial. It's expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's really expensive. And it's all at one time, you know. And luckily, the church is her family church where she was buried at. And there was no cost for the plot, because I found out while going through this that my family actually built that church. You know what I'm saying? And in the graveyard, we have lifetime rights, or actually, lifetime is throughout the whole family rights to the graveyards and whatnot at that church. So that was a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord's carried me so far. Like, He's made it to where I can do so much, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm taking it one day at a time, guys, you know what I mean? And I do appreciate the ones that do come through and still support the videos. Because like I said before, if God ain't it, it ain't no good with me, you know? If I couldn't do good with what I do, I wouldn't do it, you know? I do a lot of good with that. I mean, I've been given things to neighbors, kids or whatnot. Now I do a little more, and now I can start doing some for you guys that are interested. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's due for you guys too that support. You know what I'm saying? I do appreciate it, but I'll cut that story short, because it kind of, my story begins where that one ends. You know, because my life has changed. You know, and I'm still the same guy that loves you guys, man, 100%. But I do apologize if I offend you, you know, because the Bible says that if I offend my brother, then I shouldn't do it. But I have to follow my path, you know. I have to follow my Christ, and if that offends you, I apologize, but I have to, you know. I still make pickups, man. I still love sneakers. I love sneakers, like, but my mind's been so erratic that, like, I mean, I made a few pickups. The ones notably that matters the most to me, I mean, I'll show you. But I traded a guy in Canada the pine foams for some eggplant foams. He sent the eggplants, and I messed around and I mailed back the eggplants by accident. You know what I'm saying? Mailed back his shoes, you know, and like I thought he had them. I didn't even look at the box. I looked at the eggplants to make sure they were it, and I thought I'd switched them, but somehow I sent them back, and I looked. He sent me a message. He was like, so you sent the eggplants back? I had to come back here and pull out, I had to look in the closets and whatnot and make sure that that's what it was, that he wasn't messing with me, you know what I'm saying, and so forth. I seen the pines, and I was like, gosh, man, I'm sorry. So we made an arrangement. He's going to ship them back, and because that it's a cost to him extra, I'll throw him a little gift or something, you know what I'm saying, something, you know, something good, maybe a snapback, brand new pair of Elites or something like that, Elite socks, I mean, you know, just something nice, you know what I mean, for the time and for even dealing with me. I appreciate it, you know what I mean. So but like I said, I do apologize to you guys for not being there, but please understand that I lost my mom, you know what I'm saying, and at the same time I've been battling with my very spirit, you know what I'm saying. Like, I had it easy when I was living in sin, but I'll tell you something, and I tell you this clearly: when you get saved, it's like everything matters all of a sudden, and the devil is on you 24/7 trying to get one of his soldiers back, you know what I'm saying. Because when I was in sin, you know. I reveled in it, and I danced in sin, you know, and I loved it, you know. But and looking back, I didn't realize that I was that sinful, you know. I just thought I was living, you know, I'm just living my life, you know what I mean. But nah, I was just dying, more or less, you know. But I'll go ahead and show you these pickups. One, I got the 88 threes. I've been wanting these for a while. I finally got these, and if you can see it, I finally got these right here. Personal for me. There's not much difference. I'll do a comparison video to my regular threes soon. There's not much difference between the two, in my opinion, except maybe the back, like right here. But other than that, just logos and whatnot. But and these right here, I really wanted. I'm glad I got them. Like I said, there's a few more pickups, but these are the most notable ones to me. You know what I'm saying? These right here, I really wanted these, but every time I tried to get them, it was like somebody wanted to basically beat me over the head for him, and I'm happy that I got him for what I got him for. I did a light trade and $50 cash, and I got them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to overpay, and they're fresh. You know what I'm saying? I wore them one time, and then I put them up till next summer when everyone's beat theirs up. I bring these out super fresh. You know what I'm saying? Because I love fours, you guys know, and I love that Toro. You know. But like I said, I do plan to do some giveaways. You know what I mean? There'll be no crazy rules or anything. I'll just like some random stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like have you guys comment or something, and I'll give you something. You know what I mean? Like you can choose it sometimes, I guess, because it'll be a frequent amount, I guess. You know, I don't know. I'll take it as it goes. You know. But I do appreciate you guys supporting, and I ask that you continue to support. You know, because I plan to do good with those things, and every bit of support helps. You know what I'm saying? Like the sites don't owe me anything, and you guys have known from day one I've never been one to work for. You know what I mean? I don't mind working with someone that is doing something good, you know, in the overall. I know they have an agenda. I understand. I'm not naive to that. You know what I'm saying? You guys know that I'm not naive to that fact, you know, but at the same time, their agenda and mine may differ, but the result is the same. You know what I'm saying? I want to give as much as I can, and I can do it through that. You know what I'm saying? And I've changed lives. I mean, not significantly, but like a lot of kids went back to school with new clothes and new shoes. You know what I'm saying? And you guys know that's important. Anyone, all my 30 somethings, 20 somethings, know what it's like to go to school. Like, well, I don't know. A lot of the younger ones don't know because they come from families that have. Even the ones that don't have, make sure they have. You know what I'm saying? Because like social status is important. But I remember, like when you know what I'm saying. You could go to school with the same thing from last year. You know what I'm saying? It was possible. You know what I mean? Like I said, my parents did elect things. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the ship didn't sail. You feel me? Like sometimes you had to struggle. You know what I mean? Especially being in the city and whatnot. And education came first. So as long as tuition was paid, they didn't. They looked at it like, well, those shoes are fine. But see, I had some people that kind of sponsored me when I was young. I had uncles. You know what I'm saying? Aunts that looked out. You know, but when they were up, when mom and dad was up, they were up, and they made sure I had. But like I said, it wasn't a cakewalk. But I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? And being that I can relate to that is why I'm willing to. I was willing to sacrifice myself, so to speak, for them. You know, I knew what my plans were when I went into those videos, and I knew the reaction I would get. A lot of you have stuck with me. A lot I left. You know what I'm saying? The elitist mentality ones that you know, whatever. You know, I don't blame you. I don't hold no grudge. You know, or you're not even watching this actually. You don't even see this, but you know, I mean, you have to live with those feelings that you have for pointless things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just shoes. You know, it's just things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just stuff that you can't take with you. That, mark my words, in 100 years from this day, everything we care and we think that's important won't matter to no one. You know what I'm saying? All of our arguments and disagreements